hardly made any videos in 2024. It's kind of like a transitionary year, just preparing a lot of stuff, and a lot of things happened. I got baptized, I got married. Pretty much my life got turned completely upside down. It's like unrecognizable from my childhood. I feel like an old man. I'm going grandpa mode, son. We're talking the silent generation out here. After high school, as soon as I realized the kind of a degenerate I was, I just completely self-destructed, like not in a negative way, but I just abandoned everything that I previously did, believed in. I mean, I didn't really believe in anything, right? I just kind of totally restructured my entire life. And now it's like I don't know who I am. I mean, I actually know who I am for the first time ever, but at the same time, it's like relearning how to act, because the personality that I had built was false, vain, and profane. We're not making it out the trailer park, we're making it into the trailer park. You know what I'm saying? That's right. I'm on my way to buy a trailer. A wise man once said, "Let your nuts hang." I took that serious.
All my niggas really gang bang, talk that damn slang. Rap about it, do the same thing, let your nuts hang. We gon' pull up, nigga, on.
Here it is, son. Let's go. Not bad. 2 bathrooms. Hell yeah, boy. We made it to the trailer park, son. We made it. Hood rich. Before I leave here, I gotta christen the John. First piss in my first house. Fantastic. But I think 2025 is going to be a year of getting back into action and, dropping the philosophizing. I did a lot of that in 2024, just thinking and trying to regain my footing and understanding of how I'm going to go about life. And now I've got a pretty good game plan set out, and it's time to just start acting on it. And I want to bring people along for the journey and hopefully be some sort of a role model to the young guys who are coming out of high school and not going to college. I think college is not the right move for most young guys, but it's still a trap, because if you just don't go to college and then have no plan, you are just setting yourself up for failure. So you have to really focus up after high school and drop the juvenile stuff. My senior year, I was like knee deep in just being a goon, living for selfish pleasure. I was craving structure so bad that as soon as I kind of saw an opportunity to move on from that, it was like I dove headfirst into it and jaded myself and became an old man. I feel like I don't want to say I feel like I'm wise, because I don't really think I am, but I do feel like I speed ran through youth. It's like I did the partying phase, I did the meaningless, hopeless phase, up through finding religion, and now just kind of I feel pretty balanced. I used to be a very up and down, one day I'm riding high, the next day I'm in the dumps, constantly chasing after a high, and then now it's just kind of like very even. And that's the state a man should be in. That's the truth of the matter. This up and down roller coaster lifestyle is for kids and women. It's not for men. But it's hard to get used to. We have to dive headfirst into responsibility, and that's the only way that it's going to happen, is if we just kind of embrace it before we're ready for it. And that's definitely what I've done. Like I said, I got baptized, I got married, I totally just changed my whole life around, and now it's kind of like I have no option. Even if I wanted to stop, I've really dug in deep. I've put the roots deep. So even on times where I feel tempted, like, oh, maybe I don't want to live like this anymore, maybe I should go back, it's like, well, hey, you're married, bro. God put structures in place that force us to be rigorous, to be disciplined, and to live properly. And that's what marriage is about, is it forces you to live right even when you're not right with God, because it's a God-given structure. And so even at times when it's like maybe you're not spiritually in the right place in terms of going to church or praying or whatever, but if you're serving the family, you're not straying that far from God. You can't run that far when you're in a marriage. Sure. Oh! Yeah.
Oh, we're splitting down.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a long time. So.
I like the accent. Alright, do it. Nice.
Hold on. It's not working.
She keeps hitting the handles.
Yeah. It takes some getting used to. You got to get it to like spin around a couple times. No, not like. So it's Lent right now, and I don't know if you guys know anything about Orthodox Christian Lent, but it's pretty intense. We give up meat, dairy, and on most days you can't have alcohol or oil. That's my whole diet right there, pretty much. I live off of meat and dairy, so when the fasts come around, it's like a big change. Got that homemade lemonade and straight up dog food, son. What you know about that? I'm working on a little edit for the gym commercial I made. I included in the package like a 30-second kind of edit for social media, and I've been putting off doing that. I finished the commercial and I was like, I'm done. And then I remembered, oh yeah, you still gotta do that part. So that's what I'm working on now. I'm hoping to get it done in just like a day or two and have this project completely finished. We're moving into the trailer this Saturday. It's gonna be big, boy. You might have saw my presentation video showing the gym commercial I made to the local Chamber of Commerce. And in my notes I had written for that, in my nervousness, I forgot to include how when I was younger, I viewed small towns as kind of like a trap because I was a stereotypical faggy art kid. And I was like, yeah, man, like I'm just going to be mediocre, regular suburban dad life. Now, it's obviously true that there's more money in big cities, but there's also more expenses. You don't get the opportunity to own anything. You're basically like the smallest fish in the biggest pond, and it's not good. Cities are horrible. I'm glad that I matured a little bit and came to realize that, because there's really a lot of opportunity in small towns because all the ambitious young people leave, and I never really was that to the extent that I thought I was. I was very delusional in my youth, but I see a lot of opportunity now living in the area I do to kind of serve my community. And you don't have this type of thing when you live in a city. You got to go drive mad far, and I have access to this type of scenery pretty much whenever I want. Plus, the housing market is better, not great, but better. So really, all I'm up against is I have to find a way to make more money than is normal in my area. And if I do that, then I will have gamed the system and this area will be the best. The only reason it sucks to live in an area like this is because there's not a lot of high-paying jobs. My main focus really lately has been on my marriage and trying to develop myself as a husband and be a good leader to my wife, because I was not a leading type of person in my youth. So I've got to unlearn a lot of bad habits and learn a lot of good habits. So that's where my real focus is. But, you know, these other achievements are part of how you mold yourself as a man. You know, you have to put yourself through the ringer and kind of go after something just for the sake of the pursuit, because you'll lose so much of the filth in your soul by chasing after something bigger than you, by climbing up the ladder, you know?
That's all natural original seasoning. And onion powder. It's very nice.
I want to talk a little bit about some of the pursuits, some of the missions and business ventures and things of that nature, the exciting aspects of life that have been developing. So I work a job right now that I'll just describe as basically I'm taking care of retards, literal retards. And I love those guys. They're a lot of them are horrible people, but you can't help but like them. They're very endearing. Criminal retards. I should just get specific here. The people I work with are criminals and also retarded. Okay, that's the job. I make pretty good money, well, relatively speaking, and it's good benefits because I work for the state. But it's difficult to imagine myself spending the rest of my life working that job. It's not going to happen. So I'm going to have to move on. I need to do it fast before I have kids, because once I have kids, walking away from a good paying job with benefits is a lot stupider than if I were to start something now. And I think what I need is to learn a skill so that I have value no matter where I go, and I can always find some type of work. Whether I have a job or not, I can do freelance. And I have the video stuff, and I'll talk in a second about what I'm doing with that. But I want to learn some type of trade. I think that's the move for me. I want to do physical labor and use my body on a daily basis and just be in a more masculine environment. And I think the move I'm going to make is to go into the carpentry union. I think I'll be much better off. It's a big pay cut to start, and it's going to be 4 years of that. But I got to get through that apprenticeship phase so that I can learn the basics and establish myself. And I'll probably do 5 years union, then 5 years non-union, and then I'll start my own business. And that's when the big money will come. But the way I look at it, if I start now, I'm 20. By the time I'm 30, I can be in a good position to start a business and really run it properly and provide some value. So, and then as kind of a side hustle, doing freelance videography. Now that I have some money and a little bit of competence as a person and understanding of how to provide value to people, I feel comfortable enough to start utilizing the things I've learned from making YouTube videos since I was 10 years old. And I started doing some freelance video work. You can look at the last 2 previous videos. It's the first project I did. I made a commercial for a local CrossFit gym. But I've got to figure out a way to not eat all of my time and still make a livable wage so that I can have my wife stay at home and homeschool our kids. It's crazy how fast you can go from like, how am I gonna have a successful YouTube channel making like meme prank videos, to how am I gonna feed my kids and make sure that they don't have to go to public school where they'll be indoctrinated and turned into Marxist demon gay goblins, you know? You know what I'm saying? I do think it's important for a lot of young guys to hear some of this stuff, because everybody's probably going through similar processes. Even though a lot of guys my age are not religious, coming out of high school, you might not be undergoing the same sort of changes, but it's still going to be a crazy transformative time in your life, and it can be stressful. You're typically feeling very overwhelmed by life, and a lot of times you can't even put your finger on why. When you're first getting out of high school, it's just like everything feels like chaos, even though really your day-to-day life is pretty normal. I think it's just the age. You know, being 18, 19 years old is like, it's that time when everything in your brain is changing, and it's like the death of the child in you, and you have to embrace that death so that a new version of yourself can come about. This is aesthetic. Such an aesthetic breakfast. Holy crap. For years, I've been sleeping on mangoes, bro. The best fruit on the planet. I'm not lying. Mangoes, man. These are like the best thing ever. And pineapple, always a go-to. It's a Lent breakfast right here, son. It's the only way to do it. Yep. Pretty good.